CEO of Helping Hands Ending Hunger. And she saw the waste, and then she saw hungry people, and she decided, I do have an old teacher voice, and I am retired, but I can still holler with the rest of them. But she saw the problem and decided to do something about it. So she was a non-practicing attorney. She used her legal skills to set up the nonprofit. She researched the laws so she could know that what we were going to do was legal. She got the approval of the governor's office. She got the approval of the Department of Public Health. And she got the approval of our state school superintendent, Mr. Woods, who you'll hear from later. And so because of her hard work, we're able to do the program that we're doing today. Her program is now being done in 26 schools, and we have 10. We have more than any other county. School districts, and we are the only one in South Georgia doing it. Now, when I heard about the program, I decided I could either be like Jonah or not be like Jonah. And I decided I wasn't sure where I wanted to end up if I was Jonah. So God put it on my heart, and I decided it was something we needed in Dougherty County. I enlisted 2 of my friends at First Methodist members, Beth O'Brien, right here in the pink, and Laura Haygood, who's on the spring break mission trip. Couldn't be here, but I enlisted them and said, this is something we need to do. They joined in. We went to meet Carla and found out how it worked. And I told her last night, we were at the house, and I said, if I had known then what I know now, what kind of journey I was on, I might have run. But it has been a wonderful one. And so when we took the idea to Mr. Dyer, our wonderful superintendent, he was all for it. He gave his approval for us to do a pilot program. We chose Morningside because First Methodist is a partner with Morningside, and we knew we could fund it. Dr. Christine Ford welcomed us into her school, even though she wasn't sure what we were going to do. And Blaine Allen, there's Blaine right there, Wade. He's our child nutrition director. He helped us to get started, and he's lent his support, and you can look back there at the back table and see what some of his talents are. He did the food for us. So we got started, and after 1.5 months, we realized this was a good program. That it was really benefiting the students at Morningside and their families. And so Mr. Dyer invited Carla and me to speak to the principals. And so we presented the program to the principals, and at the end of the program, we had 10 principals that said they wanted it at their school. Now, what you got to understand is these principals really had no idea what they were volunteering for, but they knew it was going to be good for their students, and they were willing to give it a shot. And so I want to give you just an idea, introduce to you the honor roll list of principals that stepped out in faith and said, yes, we'll do it. And that's Albany Middle School, Dr. Frederick Polite. I'm going to get to you in a minute. Alice Coachman Elementary, Miss Melissa Brubaker. International Studies Charter Elementary School, Dr. Lynn James. Lake Park Elementary, Dr. Trina Bush. Lincoln Elementary Magnet School, Dr. Sean Davidson. Robert Cross Middle School, Miss Thelma Chun. Robert Harvey Elementary, John I. Davis. Turner Elementary, Mr. Levinas Gray. And I got to give a shout out to Eddie Johnson. He's not here, but he did volunteer from Dougherty High. We just not have been able to figure out how to work it at a high school because the hot bar is lunch, and so it's not prepackaged. But he was willing. We just hadn't gotten there yet. These schools now are going to proudly, Northside, I like that Northside, excuse me. Miss Katina Allen, where are you? Beth's helping me out. And these schools will receive one of these banners to hang proudly either in your cafeteria or on the wall. So principals, if you'll see Miss Whitfield before you leave and get yours to take back to your school. Then the real work began. So here we had all these 9 more principals that said yes. But Captain Whitfield, who was former Lake Park principal, said she offered, I'll work with you, we'll do it together. So we met with each principal to try to get them set up. Now each school has to have a locked closet, as you well know, for the bins and for the refrigerators and the freezers. Well, Chuck Knight, raise your hand, Knight's Appliances found a load of scratch and dent appliances, and he saved them for us until we could get money. And we would get money, and I would buy one, and he would deliver it. But he was still saving them. So without him, we would have not been able to move along as quickly. Rod Page, who I don't think is here. Where? Hey, Mr. Rod. Okay, good to see you. Now, Mr. Rod let us, he's with Supply Services, and he let us walk around in surplus supply and pick out, oh, we could use that, oh, we could use that, oh, we could use that. And he kindly moved them over to one side and saved them, and then when we would get a closet ready, he would deliver what we needed. I think I still have a few things over there, don't you, Mr. Ron? And so then we would get started. Well, renting the closets was amazing. It was a real adventure because every school was different. Every school had something else we needed to do, but Bob Fowler, is Bob here? I haven't seen Bob. But his facility crews were amazing. Now, we would need electrical plugs, we needed shelves taken down, we needed shelves put up, we needed a wall, we needed the locks changed, we needed all kind of things, and we'd call him up, and he'd send his crew, and they took care of it. And the beauty of this is now that you're set up, you 10 principals, you're set up. There's no more money that has to be involved because you're set up and the food is free. So that's one of the good things. Well, I want you to take a minute to look on the back of your program at the donors. Now, we couldn't be anywhere without these people right here. We couldn't have any, we would have maybe one school up and running if we didn't have these people. It wouldn't have been possible. Now these people, just like the principals, really weren't sure how the program would look, how it would run, what it would be like. But they too stepped up in faith. And when I said, will you give? They said yes. And because of that, all 10 schools are up and running. Those people right there. So I want you to notice those people and what they did. And because of their generosity, we've got these 10 schools up and running. And every Friday, we're sending home over 400 bags to families in the Dougherty County schools, which impacts 1,500 children that live in these homes. The amazing thing, Carla, each month I have to give her information on what we've collected, and we calculate the weight. We've kept 12 tons of food out of the landfill. Now, what you got to realize on that is our last 3 schools have only been up and running for 3 to 4 weeks. So you can imagine once we have all 10 schools, what we're saving and what kind of impact we're making. Now, so we got our closets ready, our appliances, Chuck gave us appliances, we got the bins, we're ready to go. Each principal selected a coordinator for the program. Now these coordinators took on the program along with their many other responsibilities. They sent out the forms, they selected the students to be the helping hand part, they totaled the food, number of food items, they helped the packing crew every Friday afternoon, but they also got to see the faces of those children that come and pick up those bags. I'm in the hallways and they'll say, Miss Helping Hands, did I get my bag? The other day I was in school and I heard that one of the teachers behind me, Miss Open Heart. So I turned around and gave me a smile. I said, well, I do have an open heart. It really is helping me. But so these people, like I said, took it on, and they brought with them students. Now these students are just representatives of the many students in the Kids Helping Kids program. I mean, there are many, and Mr. Dyer, maybe you promised me a volunteer, because he wanted all the kids to come. I said, oh no, we can't do that, but he promised that at the end of the year we can have our adult and our student volunteers. But today, here's our honor roll list of coordinators without whom the program wouldn't run, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Okay, so Sergeant Yusel Inman, Miss Lou Hardy, and Miss Kimberly Williams from Albany Middle School. And with them, they have the divas of Albany Middle. Araya Carson, Tashana Reed, Dakota Myers, Jada Leston, Nikeria Stewart, Nikeria Fowler, and Guy Williams. There we are. And from Miss Nakira Hall, from Alice Coachman, where are y'all? Daziria Carter and Jamia Cobb. Miss Lou Mosley and Dr. Desiree Jackson from International Studies, with John Thomas and Kevin Rodriguez Ortiz, which you see they're Beta Club members. That means they're smart. Miss Esoterica James from Lake Park with Olivia Key and Noah Ainaga. Right? Did I do pretty good? All right, Miss Anitra Oliver, Mr. Ronnie Simmons, Miss Evans from Lincoln Elementary with Antonio Peters and Lauren Salter. Miss Chineri Jordan from Morningside with David Brown, Kyria Morris, and Leanne Spalding. Mr. Shifia Blocker from Northside with Makia Mitchell and Jordan Brown. Miss Lynette Spence from Robert Harvey with Brianna Hudley, Ziaisha Brown, and Anaya Payne. Miss Donna Jernigan from Robert Cross Middle School with Tobias Brown, Alicia Offord, and Faith Chun. Miss Ursula Joyner from Turner with Jemiah Carter and Duran Hannon. And these kids have taken it on. They are the Kids Helping Kids part of the program. It has been amazing. Now this program is successful because all these people I've talked to you about. And it continues to be a collaboration, and I hope that it will be for many years. But I want to share with you how it is not only impacting the school district, but also our entire community. Now, as we began to collect, we thought, oh, we're going to collect the food, we'll send it home on Friday. Oh, that'd be good, we'll collect food, send it home on Friday. Well, we began to realize that we were collecting 400 to 450 milks per school per week. Now, if you pack that in the bags that you were sending home, the child wouldn't be able to even lift it up. So we decided then we would begin to reach out to the community, to the nonprofits. We are today giving milk to 16 local nonprofits here in Dougherty County. So as we speak, Wednesday is one of our pickup days. So as we speak, volunteers from the community are picking up milk and taking it to these nonprofits. So not only are we serving our kids, but we are actually serving the community. And these nonprofits, sometimes we end up with enough fresh fruit that we're able to supply them with the fresh fruits, but they have been very appreciated. We couldn't do it without our community volunteers. And those people we'll celebrate them at another time. they've been godsends to us. And we'll have a separate volunteer for them. And I see now that Ms. John Ive here, I introduced you earlier, and Dr. Taylor here. So we're glad those are from Robert Harvey. But before I turn it over to Mr. Dyer, who thankfully agreed, I just need to thank you again. I cannot tell you. I know it's been hard work. I know I've kind of been in your business, but you responded admirably and politely, and I hope that as we get along, we'll know what we're doing a little bit better, and each time it'll get easier. But you have made a difference, and I thank you, principals, for stepping up. I thank you, school system people, for helping us get there. I thank contributors. I thank you, coordinators. And I thank you, students, that you are making a difference here. But now I'll let Mr. Dyer have his turn at the podium.
Morning. Morning. Thank you, Ms. Rebel. When she came to me and asked me about doing this again, I didn't know what she was talking about. But I know this was not her first effort in trying to assist our schools. She served as a volunteer with our Innovative Grant Awards Committee. She's been a partner through a church for years, and so I trust her. And I knew that she had a heart for kids and she wanted to do what's right. So although I didn't know all the details, I knew that she was the right person to get it done. And believe me, she got it done. She got a mad with me. Because she wanted to do all schools at one time. But no, we just joke.
We also moved a little slower. So I got out that part.
But we got it done. I appreciate your effort. I really do. And thank you very much. Now, it's my pleasure on behalf of our Board of Education. We have two members here, Melissa Strong and our Vice Chair, Dr. Dean Fennessy, to welcome and introduce our State School Superintendent, Mr. Richard Wood. I could tell you that he has 22 years of experience in putting K-12, but I won't do that. That's on the internet. You can see that in the Bible. I could tell you he served in many roles as a teacher, as a matter of fact, former Teacher of the Year, as a testing coordinator, as an assistant principal, as a principal, curriculum coordinator, a director, pre-K director, alternative school director. I can tell you all that, but I won't, because it's on the internet. I can tell you that he's married to the love of his life for 26 years. Her name is Alicia, and they live in Tilton. They've been lifelong residents of South Georgia. But I won't tell you that either. That's on the internet. What you found on the internet is this. He's a product of the Dougherty County School System. He was the morning side. Ironically, the place where we started his pilot. He went to Raven Springs Middle School, and he went to Dougherty High. Before they moved to 5th year and finished there. What you also won't see on the internet is that he has a heart for children, and he's a servant leader. He understands that we have unique needs in many of our communities, and that Atlanta does not have all the answers. He understands that. I've never felt so empowered as a school system as I have been in his tenure as State School Superintendent. He understands that we need flexibility to do things that our kids need, and he empowers us to do that. He holds us accountable for the results, which we should be held accountable. But he understands that the best people to make the decisions are the people closest to the children, and he allows us to do that. And he advocates for us in the legislature, in season and out of season. And congratulations on surviving another legislative session. Yesterday was the last day of the session for this year, and so we just had a conversation about that. It was a good session, and in no small part his advocacy and staunch leadership in the state for education in Georgia. So I would go on and on, and I could go on and on, but I won't. I just want to let you know in front of everyone that I'm profoundly proud to serve along with you, him and our children in the state of Georgia, specifically here in Dougherty County, and I look forward to your continued leadership as we move Georgia forward. Without further ado, come forward.
Good morning morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure, again, as Superintendent Dyer said, it's a pleasure to be home. For many years, my family lived over either on Big Street, which is very close to Morningside, or on Patrol Drive. My dad was 20 years Navy, so when the naval base, if you're old enough to remember the Navy base here, that was part of the life that brought us back. And when he retired, we came and lived here for numerous years until going back to what really is, in a sense, home for my family, where my mom and dad and grandparents were raised over in Fishkill and Rosella. But today, we're here, to celebrate what you are doing, and I appreciate everything you are doing. Ms. Harward, again, for having the dream and seeing and meeting a need throughout the state. Because that's one of the things, if you look at our strategic plan, we talk about the whole child being in the middle. And, academics is not just what we do, because we know there are things that, set the table for learning. And I think for many of our young people, and what we have found out, within the state of Georgia, we do have a high degree of poverty. So we know there are issues that are out there that brings certain dynamics and challenges to our children before they even get into our schools, before they're ready to learn. And I think one of the things we find out is, of course, we talk about school climate, we talk about what goes on in the school, and for our young people, if they come to school hungry, if they leave hungry, then I can assure you that probably ABCs and 1, 2, 3s are not first and foremost on their mind. And that is where this program plays a very integral part in meeting that need. Meeting the need for those that have needed the service, that they can come and they can go to school and leave home over the weekend knowing that they don't have to worry about food and where their next meal is coming from. And so that is taking that off the plate. And so we are giving our children the opportunity to succeed, the opportunity to come to school ready to learn, to be more prepared to learn. Because basically when you talk about food, that really is the gasoline of life. That is, just as we need gas to move our vehicles, we need good, high-quality food to move our bodies and to prepare our brains for learning. And so you begin to see the dynamics of why this is such an important part of what we do each and every day throughout the state of Georgia. But I do say this, that you can have all the great ideas in the world. You can have the programs in place. But if you don't have the leadership within each school district ready to receive that, then it becomes a dead end. So Superintendent Dyer, again, I appreciate you, and again, for your willing and for all the principals and leadership that was here to do it. Ms. Rebel, for you taking on the challenge, because somebody has to make this go. And Ms. Harward can't be everywhere and be everything and do everything at one place, because as we were talking, that the dynamics look different. Again, I was first introduced to the program up in Tryon City, which again, if you go up there, there are similarities, but there are definitely a lot of differences as we look at this, because you've expanded it. Not only are you serving your kids, but you're serving your community. We have access. And again, excess that typically could end up in the landfill. But yet it's going to the homes where it can be best served. And I think that what you are set up here is a great model for a public-private partnership. You're seeing all the people and the entities that are here and what it takes to get this involved. Once you get past that initial expense, then basically it's just maintaining and running. And in a lot of this, what you find out is that this program is led by our students. Individuals who are servants, individuals that really are learning leadership as well. So it is not, as you look at what we're exposing our young people to, it's not preparing our young people for the life of saying that we're meeting nutritional needs, but we are also giving our young people who are ready to look at leadership, to look what it means to serve. Because I do tell young people all the time that your age does not, put a barrier to you or disavow you for being active. It does not, separate you where you cannot make an impact in your world. Now, your world may be a little bit small at this time, but it is something that now you can begin to expand and exceed and begin to reach forward. And it's preparing you for, for greater things in life as well. So for those of you who, are kind of shepherding these young people and allowing them to take leadership and ownership within their own schools. within their own communities, I appreciate that, because it is a very vital part in what we are doing across the state. So, as you look at perhaps an initial idea of, of feeding young people, you now begin to see how, once that pebble hits the pond, how the ripples begin to spread out. And that's where I think, we're seeing great things like this, and great opportunities. But, we want to look at making sure that this is sustainable. And for myself in education, what I found out is there are many things that are fads. There are things that come and go over time. But you have a need here. And this will not be a need that will be erased overnight. But it is an important need that we do meet, as I've shared, by allowing our young people to make sure that food is not something they are having to worry about when they go home. That is not something they have to worry about when they, leave school for the weekend. Because for many of our young people, schools are the place that is kind of the safe haven from many of the trials that they are facing and families are facing, and again, no fault of their own, out in the, outside the confines of our schools. But, I don't really want to take too much time with that, because we could go on and look at this. And I think that with such programs as Helping Hands, it's setting a table. It's showing what we can do when we work together, as a family. As a family that looks at the needs that we have up here and how we can meet those needs. And I encourage you now that you, being the largest system that was involved, in looking at 10 schools, or 10, is it 10 or 9? 10, okay, 10 as I heard, just making sure I get the numbers, right with that. So we know that it can work in a large school system. It's not necessarily, and we can see that it can definitely be replicated in a small school system. But now you have the chance to be the ambassadors, okay? You have the chance to now that as you look at how this is going out, that, I kind of think, biblically, you don't put a light underneath a basket or a bed, but it needs to be on top of a hill so it can't shine. And that's the charge, what I would say that for you. You are seeing the successful program. Again, there's only one of Miss Harlan, okay? And she can only be at so many places at one time. But now you have a district. You have a voice of 10 schools that can now share what's going on. And you can be the ambassadors, to this area. Because there's great need in Southwest Georgia. I can assure you of that. But there's a great need across the state, of Georgia. And so I challenge you to say, this is not just the end of the beginning, but it's the beginning as we move, on forward. And that's where you can play a very critical part in sharing with us. For you as young people, this is a chance for you to share with those in other schools. As you meet, as you talk, and perhaps you will have opportunities with other schools and with other entities to share what's going on. For you as community and business leaders, you know what it looks like here in Dougherty County, what it looks like in Albany. But this is something that when you go out and you meet with your business people, when you meet with perhaps other civic clubs or organizations, that you can say, hey, we're doing something special here in Dougherty County. Can you give me 5 minutes to let me tell you what we're doing, for our children? And what I found as I close in the state of Georgia, what I found, and this goes without exception, I have never found anyone that has said no to a child. I've never found anyone. And so that's the challenge, I give you today. It's a pleasure to be with you and, to see the success. It's always a little bit prideful when it comes from home. Okay? It's always something that I always love to brag about. And I appreciate Superintendent. Again, thank you for your work and your effort. For the staff again, here for Ms. Relevant, again for investing your time. I think once a teacher, always a teacher. There's no retirement.
There was some.
There was some. I found that sometimes retirement, of course I can't speak, I'm not retired, so, but, I think it is looking that, once a teacher, you always have a teacher's heart. And that's where I think that's what it plays into. And for Ms. Harward, again, for having the dream, for having the vision to start this, path and expand this. And so at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Harward and let her come down and share with you a little bit about, Helping Hands. So again, thank you very much for allowing me to do this.
You have blown me away with what you've been able to accomplish in such a short period of time. What a testament to the community effort of Dougherty County, to a cause really whose time has come. I just want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for taking the faith, jumping into the lake without knowing where you're going to land, and really making a vision that I had that started in a tiny town in northwest Georgia, a statewide reality. I really appreciate everything that you've done. More than anything, I'm honored to see the children here today, because this program is about kids helping kids. And you, as student leaders in each of your schools, now have been instrumental in making Helping Hands the success that it is. You ought to be proud of yourselves. I'm proud of you. Just awesome job, you guys. You know, it's been said that a person's most useful asset is not a head full of knowledge, but a heart willing to give that's full of love, an ear ready to listen, and a hand willing to help others. We all know that none of this would be possible without the compassion, determination, and tireless efforts of one very special lady who is my hero, who I'm proud to call my friend. She has proven by all that she's accomplished over the last few months, and it's been a lot, that she truly has one of the biggest hearts, the best listening ear, and the most generous hands of anyone I know. She doesn't know I'm doing this today, but on behalf of Helping Hands, Miss Rebel, Kathy, I'd like to designate you the Hunger Hero. It matters that we have leaders in the Department of Education and in our school systems that have a vision and that can think outside of the box to fix vexing problems. Hunger is one of those problems. Hunger hurts, but we're glad that you care, and we're glad that you're willing to help. We're all going to continue to need your help as we go forward, because this isn't a problem that's going to be solved overnight, as you recognize. But as a special thank you to you, hot off the press, we have our new Helping Hands t-shirt. So I'd love for you to spread the word. Continue to move this program forward and expand. And there's one other bit of exciting news that I wanted to share. And for this piece, I'd like to introduce our student founder, who happens to be my daughter, because she had the vision to see all the waste that was going on in our school and made my goal and my thought processes and vision that much clearer. So let me introduce Sophie Hawley.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Sophie Harwood, and I'm the student founder of Helping Hands. Today I would like to share some exciting news about a program that is very important to me as a high school student looking at the cost of college. In the fall of 2018, thanks to a generous donation from the Tryon First Baptist Church youth group involved in the Vacation Bible School program, Helping Hands established a scholarship fund for the honor graduate to participate in the Helping Hands program. This scholarship fund was created in honor of Superintendent Wood's kind recognition of her program. We have just received another donation to the scholarship fund, and I'm excited to announce that it will open for the first two nominees, a student who has received food from Helping Hands and a student who has led as a volunteer this May 2019. An application for the scholarship has been posted on our website. Going forward, we need your help identifying candidates and spreading the word so that we can grow the fund and help even more graduates. With this scholarship, we hope recipients will pursue the next chapters in their lives with a continued spirit of community and helping others, developed as a part of their participation in Helping Hands. Thank you very much.
So let me conclude by saying that I, of all people, know that our work in this effort isn't easy. I mean, there are days when I wake up and think, what in the world was I thinking?
Yeah, me too.
And, you know, those days are more than not recently, but then I see the face of a sweet smile of a child who's gotten food that week. Or I get a hug from a parent, and I know that that food that they have been able to get just removed one burden from the front burner for them that week. Or I hear a story about Helping Hands and how it's impacted the life of another human being. And that's enough. That's all I need to know to keep going. In the words of Robert Frost, we have miles to go before we sleep. So Superintendent Woods has even said it this way, that one thing that has to be completely off the table when it comes to our children is complacency. We can't look away. We have to look them in the eyes and fix the problems that they face daily. Hunger is one of those. And we have to not rely on the way things always have been done, but we have to think differently. And applying that thought to Helping Hands, I can say, we won't be complacent. We won't stop or sleep until we can all proudly stand up and say, we have solved this problem. There is no child hungry in the state of Georgia anymore. So thank you very much.
Thank y'all again for coming, and we kind of told the students they couldn't eat too much to start with, but you can eat whatever you would like. Thank you for coming. Please help yourself if you haven't had anything to eat. Principals, be sure you get your banner to be hung up proudly, and you should be proud of yourself, students and coordinators and everybody. So thank you so much for coming.
Go back to work. All right. You too. And then my brother.
We can go right here if y'all want to.